What's up, guys, and welcome back to the NoShang Invitational. We have another best of 3 for you guys coming here today. I'm Mikelorus, going to be joined by Daneliecasts for it. It's going to be Elements versus Cookies. Danny, how are you doing today?
10 seconds remaining.
I hope you can say something as to the status of your
5
well-being.
seconds remaining.
Either I'm deaf or you're muted.
Dire team ban.
It might be both.
Radiant
Well,
team ban.
until we settle what's going on there, hopefully everyone else can hear me. Hopefully everyone else can hear the game as well. It looks like you should be able to.
Dire team ban.
Yeah, it's going to be a lower bracket game. The Cookies side were dropped here by Empire, by Rocks rather, and Elements are a replacement. So we'll see if they're able to play more than one game here. Winner of this goes to NL5 in the lower bracket still. So elimination is on the line. And Danny, if you figure out what's working, just cough or cut in just anytime. That is going to be great. But until then, you guys have me, and that is perfectly fine right now. There it is.
Alright, my Skype always does the wrong audio output settings, and I don't know why, but it's fixed. That's all that matters right now.
That's why it's
I'm
always
here.
paused in the beginning, because Skype.
Reserve time.
I'm sorry. It could have been Rage, but, you know, he decided to not be here, unfortunately.
Damn it, Sevi. Oh well. It's fine. I had a lot of issues earlier today, so yeah, it's all good, because we're going to have an Enchantress first pick for the Elements side. You and I both up, or, I mean, I was up early. I don't know, you were kind of just up regular times watching some Chinese Dota. I would expect this to be not too different. It seems like the picks are almost globally agreed upon as to what heroes are really strong and what heroes that you want to be picking up. But as far as priority, we have seen a couple of differences across the world. But Enchantress, I think, first pick, that's pretty much a given.
10 seconds remaining.
I think especially in the EU scene, Enchantress, I know Chinese teams do like to pick it, but they normally go for either, if you want to pick an Enchantress in China, you typically want to pick it up second or during the second phase. They don't really put that much emphasis on an Enchantress first pick, but for Element Pros, they can really do anything with this Enchantress, but Cookies, they see the Enchantress, and now they're going to pick up the Bounty Hunter. So this means that if Enchantress decides to go into the jungle, Bounty is not only going to be there to sap her EXP and to potentially steal some of her farm, but then you're also putting pressure on the map because of the roaming Bounty.
Yeah, Bounty Hunter is just one of those heroes that we're going to see pretty much all the time. Just he is I don't really want to say that he's a strong hero. I just want to say that he's a hero with a lot of upside. Like, there are so many things that can go right should you have a great Bounty Hunter game, and then you just demolish the game from there on out. What he does just by himself is pretty much, I think, done better by the likes of Chen, Enchantress, and Earth Spirit, but they have a little bit less payoff. So the Bounty Hunter is going to be picked up along with the Witch Doctor. Pretty nice 1-2 punch up against the Enchantress pick, and now kind of retroactively good up against the IO second pick from the Elements side. A hero that we don't always see, this IO. Occasionally he'll be picked up, maybe not with the IO Tiny combo necessarily in mind, but it is going to offer Elements quite a few options moving forward. Outside of the fact that they're running IO Enchantress, though, these heroes are very susceptible to what Cookies have.
Definitely. One hero that has been very popular recently has been the Sven. And I would not be surprised if Elements decide to pick up this Sven Wisp, assuming that the Sven doesn't get banned out here by Cookies. We've seen it I have seen it predominantly in the Chinese scenes. They've really loved picking up the Sven. And it's just because the hero is great. He's a solid hero all round. He needs a couple of items to come online. He doesn't technically need to go for damage items first, because he essentially has got built-in free damage with the ultimate. So, Cookies, they ban out. They ban the CK instead. A hero that we very rarely see, but,
I love CK so much.
I love it
kills
too,
me.
but...
It kills me every single time I see him banned out. But, alas, it is not going to be today. Sven is probably... at this point, one of the more common pickups. IO Tiny is something that you can still run, but it's typically just not something that you're going to be super happy with running, just because dual lanes mid, last patch it was all the rage. Nowadays, you hardly ever see it, so IO most of the time is going to be in that side lane, just trying to get some experience in the jungle from pulls and whatnot. And that is not the place that you want to be up against a bounty hunter who you expect to be more so on the roam than not. Another option, I guess two options, Bristleback and Gyrocopter. I think those are the big three that are left in the pool for the element side, and well, it seems like they're all about even right now. Although Warcry up against what Cookies have for that extra armor, I mean, Cookies are almost all physical damage, so there's a lot of value in that.
Cookies are going to have to somehow respond to this. If it is the Sven pickup, what heroes do you normally pick up if you want to play around that Sven? It's mostly just control at this point, right? You just get the supports, try to control the Sven and burst him down with magical damage. Because you don't really want to be relying on that physical damage. He's so tanky with the extra armor. But I do like the setup though, Witch Doctor and Faceless Void. It's a lot of control already. And that means that Element Pro Gaming, they're going to have to be a little bit more careful with their positioning now just because of the potential chronospheres that could be coming out from Cookies.
It's going to be a little bit of a mini game once those chronospheres come up, especially for this IO. There's upside in that you can yank someone out of the chronosphere and then pretty much nullify that Faceless Void's ultimate, or I guess trade it for your own if you're the IO. But if you are going to tether a little bit too close, or if you tether too early, you get caught in that chronosphere, you're not going anywhere, suddenly you're stuck in there as well. So there is potentially ways for elements to handle this Faceless Void's chronosphere, whereas otherwise there wouldn't be. And they're going to go ahead and grab a Phantom Lancer third pick. Now, this is rather interesting. Cookies don't really have a ton as far as being able to handle the Phantom Lancer. It's a hero that is very resistant to the Bounty Hunter should the Phantom Lancer go towards the mid lane. But there's also a non-zero chance that the Phantom Lancer is just going to go to the safe lane and try to get some gold.
I like the PL pick. They're giving themselves a lot of options this game. They're not saying we're going to pick static laners. They're more or less saying that Cookies are going to have to guess how the lanes are. And it might be a bit of a problem because normally if you see a team picking up the static lanes, then you sort of have an idea they're going to be laning hero here, here, here. Then that means we're going to be responding with this, this, this. Now, that's not quite the case. And one of the best responses is most of the time it's Ember Spirit. Although for this game, for Cookies heroes, they actually have a Faceless Void and an Ember Spirit, two heroes that are very reliant on getting farm before they're really going to be coming online in this game. Whereas for Elements Pro, with what they've drafted so far, it's going to be a lot of early game pressure. And I don't know if there's going to be enough space for Cookies. They don't really have a tempo controller to sort of control the game and to buy time for the Ember and Faceless Void to pick up their main core items. It's a little bit scary.
There are certain drafts where you're playing Ember Spirit, certain drafts for Ember Spirits where you will be able to get a little bit of tempo for the team. This isn't really one of them. If you're Ember Spirit trying to go toe-to-toe up against a Brewmaster, things get pretty difficult. Phantom Lancer hits pretty darn hard. You will be able to block his spears occasionally, yes, but outside of that, this Ember Spirit and Faceless Void are going to need quite a bit of time to get going. I do like how Elements, kind of in a non-traditional way, are really putting the gas on. Brewmaster is, I think, underplayed and is going to have some issues potentially going up against Faceless Void. But in general, even with IO or without, put the Drunken Haze on Faceless Void or Ember Spirit, and they are completely and utterly useless in those fights until one of them gets an MKB. So this is, again, so much upside for the Elements Pro Gaming team, and IO Brewmaster having the ability to split push with the Brewmaster is not too bad at all, because once he does come into a fight via relocate, land a clap, land a split, and you're pretty much good to go. Cookies are going to be on full retreat afterwards. The only concern at that point for Elements is that Cookies are full of ways to get away, and Elements don't really have that much in the way of crowd control.
Yeah, not just crowd control, but they don't have the best chasing potential. If they had something along the lines of a potential glimpse or a blink hero that's got some sort of hard disable, then that would be a great way to chase Cookies down. So Zeus and the Beastmaster end up being the last ban. So Cookies, they're thinking that there's an offlaner in the pool that Elements is looking for, whereas for Elements, they presume it's going to be a mid hero. I'm not too sure if Zeus would have been the best hero here for Cookies. Yes, he can throw things into the chronosphere, but he is very, very vulnerable as a mid hero. And Enchantress ganks are something that you would have had to take into consideration running the Zeus. They don't even have the best supports to be looking after the Zeus either. Like, Bounty Hunter's okay if you want to play aggressive, but in a position where Elements plays aggressive themselves, Bounty Hunter's not really the best hero. And Queen of Pain works well here. So they do pick up the Queen. She's going to help the Faceless Void when it comes to throwing damage into the Chrono. She needs a lot of momentum though.
Yeah.
They need a lot of momentum.
It was pretty much going to be, I think, coming down to a Queen of Pain pick or a Puck pick for the Cookies side. There's a little bit more front-loaded damage when you pick up the Queen of Pain, and you could try to burst down like the Brewmaster via Queen of Pain instead of trying to control him and have someone else kill him in the way that a Puck is going to function. So Cookies decide to go for the a little bit more of the aggressive option and elements. They're going to, at least as best they can, shore up their lack of crowd control with this Lion last pick. I mean, Lion is perfectly strong versus the Faceless Void. We've seen that time and time again is, pretty much the counter pick from your support that if you can make, you should make, and it fills another role. So the Elements draft is going to be capped off pretty darn well, and really the question mark here for the Elements side is how well can they deal with this Bounty Hunter? And conversely for Cookies, how much action is this Bounty Hunter going to get? You're going into an Enchantress, an Io, and a Lion as the supports. These are heroes that really don't have a great time up against this Bounty Hunter, just putting out so much physical damage. So expect a lot of pressure, at least attempted pressure, from this Bounty Hunter. But should Elements handle that well, then their draft is a pretty devastating one, assuming they don't get with the Chronosphere. They're going to have to play around so many things right now.
So we'll see how it goes for now. Both teams going to start looking for their runes. Now we're going to have the Lion sort of watching this bottom rune for his Brewmaster buddy here, as well as Slander, whereas up top we've got the Bounty just stalking the Enchantress and actually going to run into the Witch Doctor too. Now Enchantress hasn't skilled anything up, so she does have a couple of options available if she does want to skill anything, but, well, she's going to hang on to it, doesn't really want to use it.
I feel like you should probably throw the cask there. Like, she does have a Fairy Fire, but if you can get that out super early, it's kind of worth the mana. You may or may not get the kill, but you put so much more effective damage onto her, so I feel like that might have been something that Pablo should have considered right now, but regardless of what happened with that Enchantress, what will happen with this Enchantress is that is going to continue. Her jungle is going to be completely blocked out, or at least the north jungle will be, and Steph Style is going to be bouncing around between harassing the Enchantress and harassing the Io, and it seems like Enchantress actually very far up. Still nothing leveled here on the Witch Doctor. However, this time they do have an Ember Spirit. It's going to start charging in. Cass going to be there. They will level up Searing Chains. The right clicks will be slowed down by the Untouchable, but not quite enough, I don't think. A couple more right clicks. One more from Pablo from downtown. They got her. Pablo is going to grab first blood on the Enchantress. Untouchable is good, but it's not that good.
Yeah, a little bit too much there for the Enchantress to handle, so first death on the board, obviously not a position that you want to be in as the Enchantress. Whereas for Cookies, they needed a kill like that. They need to get off to a good start during the laning phase, and even if it means getting some kills on your Ember Spirit, that's good already. Although, Witch Doctor not having the best trade up against the Enchantress. He got about one hit in, then he was down to half HP, but it looks like D is going to be in a bit of a sad position again once this initiation comes through from the Witch Doctor and Bounty Hunter. So there we go. Initiation is there, pops the heal off, so this time there should not really be a kill unless they can chase him down with the burn. Looks like the Pixies may be a little bit too much here for Cookies, and this time the Enchantress gets out scot-free, although you don't want to go too far out, D. Stay where you are, buddy.
Yeah, be careful out there, Enchantress, because the world hurts when you're on the top lane and you're all alone, and well, the Observer Ward is going to try to keep her safe, but given the positioning of the Witch Doctor in that last phase, given the fact that Steph Style is invisible, he just completely bypasses the Observer Ward. The Observer Ward can only do so much. So while the Enchantress is struggling on that lane, we have ourselves a bottom lane as well. Safe lane Brewmaster, very rarely seen, yet with the amount of damage he's able to put out, they can do quite a lot to this Faceless Void as far as killing him is concerned, but zoning him, it's kind of difficult. The Lion can only do so much. We have a Queen of Pain situation over in mid. Seems like Flo is going to run out of mana over in mid. Slander is going to take a couple shots now. Steph Style, well, blink forward from Adam. Couple more right clicks. Slander's in the trees. With the bottle, he should be just fine. He's going to tether out and share the love with his Phantom Lancer buddy. But as it stands right now, Phantom Lancer and Io trading rather evenly with the Queen of Pain. It's not an easy hero to kill pretty much ever, and Phantom Lancer Io should never really be able to kill off this Queen of Pain unless she makes a really big blunder.
Okay, so Steph Style stuck around for a little bit, and now he knows that there's a Sentry Ward, and he was actually testing the creeps to figure out where it was ran out of the radius, and now he knows where it is, gets rid of it completely. And now the mid lane's going to be a bit raw. Does the Wisp buy another... Actually, he doesn't have enough gold for sentry wards. He's actually going to bring the bottle into the PL. Can they actually save him in time? It looks like it's going to be enough. Can they turn it onto Steph style? Oh, the bounty drops. And Adam actually has no mana, even though the blink is going to be coming off cooldown. So you've got a small window of opportunity to kill off this Queen of Pain. He just needs the hits and Fairy Fire. They get him in time. That was very close. Split second longer and the Queen of Pain would have been out of there with the blink.
Split second sooner for that. They probably could have killed off the Phantom Lancer before the IO comes in. He comes in with the bottle charges for one, also a little bit of residual fountain regen, and Flo is so unkillable if you don't burst him down and he's getting heals from his friendly IO. Yeah, it's the kill that you really want to get, but it's not an easy kill to get at all. So Cookies, they overcommit, end up getting punished, and now Phantom Lancer level 4 pushing level 5 still isn't going to have a substantially easier time going for this Queen of Pain, but hell, as long as the Spirit Lance is being leveled up, as long as he's getting at least some sort of farm, he should be okay, because the Enchantress is having such a bad time, she's just going to bail out from the top lane entirely. So we are going to see a pretty big Ember Spirit in this game, and Flo, as I said before, is not the best hero at killing him off necessarily, because again, that's mostly the Lion's job to secure that kill, but once you land the Hex, someone has to do the right-click damage, and that Phantom Lancer, even with nothing in his inventory right now, is still hitting very hard. That's just what the hero does. We're going to have a rotation now as Steph style. Looking at the bottom lane, it's going to be Lion the easy target, yet Brewmaster the target that he wants. There is no Chronosphere, and they're going to see the Lion right now. Spike is going to be baited onto Jelly right now. He doesn't have a Time Walk. He's going to dilate some time. Time Walk is not going to be super useful here as the Drunken Haze goes out onto Steph style. Couple more right clicks, getting the Faceless Void in. Fervian's still alive, however. Steph style is only level 2. He has no shuriken to throw, but is he faster? It seems like yes, he is. Lands one more big Janata hit, grabs a kill on the Lion, and the Brewmaster, he's out of mana, and he can't do anything but watch. It's a pretty successful rotation from Steph style. He's doing quite a bit in this early phase.
Well, he has to. His team needs that support that the bounty's going to be giving up top, though. Looks like they're trying to chase down the Enchantress, and this might not be a happy story for D. He's going to be able to get out, but the Wisp is there with the heals, and all of a sudden, are they going to really try and go for a turn onto this Ember Spirit? It looks like they are, and actually he's going to hang around. He just came in for the chains. He wants to live. He needs some hits, and unfortunately he dies. Although they do get a small trade in the Wisp, but you still lost your Ember Spirit in the process there. So obviously for Elements, got to be very happy. And
Adam.
mid.
He has no blink. He's going to scream to clear out some illusions. Flo looking for the right click. Can't find it in the fog. Oh, get juked, Phantom Lancer. This is a little bit lucky perhaps by the Queen of Pain. I think his foot was in the air and he was about to literally kick her ass to death. But Adam was able to get out of there, and Steph style, again, in the right place at the right time, able to cash in on that experience and killing off a Phantom Lancer no less. That's no small bounty for the Hunter. So it's Cookies to make a kind of questionable play here from Flens up on this top lane. Ember Spirit should not be so uppity that he's going to try to trade his life for either IO or Enchantress, and he definitely can't get both there, but they're able to kill off the Phantom Lancer while keeping their Queen of Pain alive over in mid. That kind of makes it, I'm not sure if it's worth it, it's just less bad, but here's going to be another situation for them. Adam's going to take a couple right clicks here from Flo. Lance is going to land. They're going to try to bait out her blink. Steph style is in the area. She's going to blink away right into the Lion. Hook, line, and sinker. Adam is going to throw the Sonic Wave down into the IO. Get the kill there. Faceless Void. He doesn't have enough mana for a Chronosphere yet. They're still sticking onto this Lion. They'll grab the kill regardless. A 2-for-1 trade, and Elements perhaps overestimating their damage output, their ability to kill out this Queen of Pain, or at least their ability to control her before she gets the Sonic Wave out.
The good news, though, is that because they're applying so much pressure onto Adam, is that he will be coming online a little bit later as the Queen of Pain. Yes, he has the Sonic Wave, but you have to remember that a Queen of Pain without farm has an incredibly long cooldown on that Sonic Wave, and the uptime on that is super important. We didn't get to see the Enchantress death, however. This time it's going to be a bit successful here as Pablo, as well as Fiend's Master, managed to grab that one. But the Queen of Pain, like Cookies, they're going to have to help the Queen of Pain a little bit just so that she's able to become that relevant hero, so that at least Elements is going to be a little bit worried about somebody rather than nobody. And Bounty's run into Lion. Bit of a tussle, but you could say that they don't really want to be walking into each other here. So 2 shadows crossing the night, and everyone's well on their dandy way.
Steph style is still looking to harass this mid lane as much as he can. Not quite at this track mark, but Level 5, 7, 8 minutes in the game. He's more or less where you would expect a bounty hunter to be, not to mention the amount of space he created from his for his buddies elsewhere. It looks like he's going to try to just absorb a little bit of experience here. Should not be super successful. What I'd like to see from Cookies right about now is this Faithless Void getting active with the Chronosphere. They don't have the Death Ward just yet. In fact, bottom lane. Okay, no, Adam's going to be just fine. But you have a Chronosphere. You should be looking to drop that on someone. Try to get it on cooldown. And this is going to actually enable the Queen of Pain to be a little bit more effective in this game. The fact that she has a Chronosphere on her team. She will be effective pretty much no matter what her farm state is. And her farm state is not stellar, but still good enough so that she's going to have some sort of significant impact. So the synergy on Cookies is going to carry them a little bit further in this game. They will group up, take this top lane tier 1, and it looks like we may be looking at a similar trade as down towards bottom lane. Brewmaster with the Ring of Basilius has that turned on. Enchantress grabbed a couple of creeps, some good ones at that. They'll clean out the creep wave and look to make an even trade. So far, no huge engagements despite the existence of Chronosphere.
They can't really do anything though, because Adam's going on a sliver of HP and mana back to base. Although once he's full, they may consider trying to go for a jump down bottom. And if they're going to kill anybody, obviously the Lion will be a priority target. He's super squishy still at 600 HP. Don't really want to be touching that Brewmaster, even though you've got the Sonic Wave. He's got the evasion to work with. As you said earlier, it's still a lot of physical damage that Cookies is relying on, which is rather unfortunate for their draft. And Jelly just dancing with the PL. Nothing to see here, folks.
I'm kind of surprised that they're actually making this full lane swap. It's not just a rotation, like the Faceless Void is actually in the mid lane now, and Queen of Pain was on the bottom lane. Faceless Void is pretty resistant, but if he gets hexed, if he gets spiked up, he's pretty screwed. Let's see if they can force him away. Oh, he'll time walk. Chronosphere is going to keep him safe. However, no, it actually doesn't connect onto the Enchantress, even though it looked like it did. They're going to yank the Phantom Lancer a little bit farther forward, trying to go for this Faceless Void. They're going to land the Hex. A couple of Spears to fly as well. He will have another time walk soon. Sonic Wave, in the meantime, lands on the 4 heroes in the back line. They're going to go for Slander, grab the IO kill, and now the cast is going to bounce through onto Flow, onto Fervian, jump in from Flens, and the Death Ward. It's going to crush through the rest of the supports from Elements as Flens is still sticking onto Flow. He's not going to have enough juice to kill off Jelly. It's going to be a 3-for-0 exchange. Faceless Void, a fair and balanced hero with that time walk, but the follow-up from Cookies was impeccable. Now they're looking at this Brewmaster. He's going to split just to keep himself alive. As far as getting kills with this, it's actually possible because Adam doesn't have a blink yet, but now with that Voodoo Restoration, he's not losing any HP. This Brewmaster ultimate doesn't actually do a lot of DPS. It's all about that control, and they're just going to chill out and wait for the Earth to come back. Kata's back, but he doesn't have a Blink Dagger. He can't chase this. Cookies get away scot-free.
So they've actually just put the Brewmaster ultimate on cooldown too. So if you're Cookies, you're going to be pretty happy with that to not only use your ultimates and grab a huge amount of kills, but one of the major assets for Elements is not going to be available for the next 2 minutes. So that's going to be some open space for Cookies to get some more farm on the Ember Spirit as well as the Faceless Void. This is the turn of events that Cookies needed. And unfortunately for Elements to give so many kills away and to put major spells on cooldown like that, it's rather unfortunate, but unfortunately it also couldn't be helped. They tried to chase the Faceless Void, and without the appropriate burst, he just got out of their grasp. The hero's just so good against those drafts where they don't have instant burst damage. If it's progressive damage, then obviously that's when the Time Warp becomes super effective too.
And that was even with almost the ideal scenario. They forced out like just a melee range time walk, and they forced out a defensive Chronosphere, which looked like it was going to hit the Enchantress. It must have been just on the edge there, very close, but the Faceless Void started things off kind of gimped, and yet despite that, still OS Frog time walk is going to keep him alive and well. And I think another big point is that Flens actually was able to get in there as the Ember Spirit. They're going to find Slander now. Adam has a Blink Scream, and he's going to use it. That'll kill off the IO. The Ember Spirit overshot. He'll try to chain down the Lion. He'll fail in that. Doesn't matter, got the IO. That seems like it might just be good enough. They didn't invest too heavily.
They didn't need to, though. They're getting track kills on top of this, so to grab a Wisp kill this early on and to have it tracked too, like this is what Cookies was looking for. You draft the Bounty Hunter, start accumulating those kills with the tracks on top of it, and you're going to be rolling in gold. So for Cookies, if they can keep on going for these small ganks with the Bounty Hunter tracks as well, Elements are not going to be in a position where they really want to actively fight into Cookies unless they're all together, but it's just Charter by himself. He's trying to jump onto Adam. They have the disables. I don't know if you want to jump onto Jelly. Gets the Chrono down. Adam, he's got the Sonic Waves off Blends. God, he ran into the Chrono. That's not what you're really looking for. And they also lose Adam as well. Sonic Wave on cooldown too. Jelly's going to try and TP out. There's no disable, so he's going to get out scot-free. Actually, Enchantress would have been able to disable him if he actually enchanted the Mud Golem.
I think he just figured, oh, the Faceless Void is gone now, I'm just going to go to mid lane, but there was definitely enough time there to grab a Mud Golem, chuck a boulder, cancel the TP. You may or may not kill off the Faceless Void afterwards since he may not have his TP, but he still has that time walk. But either way for Cookies, they get caught by the Blink Dagger now up on the Brewmaster. No ultimate, no problem. Thunderclap is still a fantastic damaging spell and also has a significant slow, so that lands onto 3 heroes. The Chronosphere is kind of a panic pop by the Faceless Void, ends up catching his own Ember Spirit on the edge, and the enemy Phantom Lancer is able to right-click from the outsets into the Ember Spirit. So about as bad as it can get as far as defensive Chronospheres go. So Cookies are going to have to respect this Blink Dagger on the Brewmaster moving forward. It's going to be a nice little win here for the Elements side. Brewmaster and Phantom Lancer perhaps soon to show off exactly how much power they have, because Brewmaster up till this point haven't really been seeing a lot from him. Split, again, very nice control spell. Once you're in the middle of the fight, able to Cyclone up the Faceless Void, ideally, or the Ember Spirit, that's when the Brewmaster really shows how powerful he can be, and we'll hopefully show that again once he has a little bit more in the way of the Drunken Haze. He's going to see the Queen of Pain soon. I don't think he actually has vision. Okay, he does know exactly where she is. Pings are out, but unfortunately this time the Lion is nowhere nearby. They'll just grab the tower. It looks like it'll be a free one.
Witch Doctor may walk into the Brew, but yeah, they got the Brew blinks down, and Adam, yeah, I don't know if you want to be staying around too close to the Queen of Pain, but that was an easy tower for Elements. There was no Chronosphere. It is going to be up in 8 seconds though, and I'm rather curious to know if Cookies is going to TP back the Faceless Void to attempt a team fight here, but it looks like they're more focused on farming. Jelly the Void up in the top lane farming, whereas we have Flame Maester on the Ember Spirit trying to push down bottom. They'll lose their T2, but to grab 2 towers, a T1, and maybe even just half damage on the T2 is fine. They're just buying time at this point.
Oh, relocate. They're looking for the Faceless Void. Challenge mode. Can they catch up to him? He's going to jump over the cliff. Well, that's why it's challenge mode, because it's damn hard to catch up to this Faceless Void. They don't get the kill there. They will use their relocate. They're not going to be punished on the backswing of that ultimate, so it's pretty long cooldown for the IO, but it's going to be perfectly manageable. They make a really good tower trade, and now they're going to group up towards top lane as well. They're just threatening with this Brewmaster ultimate at this point. They're daring Cookies to try to make something happen, and even though they are very powerful with the amount of sustainability they have from the Brewmaster, from the IO, and the Enchantress, their initiation from the Lion, Cookies can call this bluff and do have all the tools necessary to actually win a fight simply because Chronosphere still exists. Haven't really seen a great one just yet, but for Elements, they might be getting a little bit too comfortable with the fact that they are getting away with these towers.
So tower's going to be taken here for Elements. Is Cookies trying to buy time for anything? They are grouping up and they're going to be taking a T1, but are there any major things that we should be waiting, that Cookies is really looking for here? The Void sitting on 1.1. Oh, the Brewmaster is trying to go for the initiation. Now they go for the stun onto the Witch Doctor. Here's the easiest kill. He's going to go for the TP. There's no disables, so he just TPs out. Then Adam, he's going to blink out too, but do they have any sort of chase? They don't. They really need a Blink Dagger on that Lion. I feel like once they've got the Blink secured on that Lion, that's going to be all their initiation packed into one small hero. They really need it. Like, the Bruise initiation in himself isn't good enough anymore. The elusive escape mechanisms of Cookies is just too good. Faceless Void with the Time Walk, Queen of Pain Blink. Hell, even Fleen with the Fire Remnant's just as good as well. There's just no way for Elements to chase down these heroes.
Flens now has his Battle Fury up, which is the answer to the question that you asked earlier. This is the item that they're waiting for to deal with the Phantom Lancer. Jelly's going to get into the front lines. Finger of Death is there. He has a Time Walk, and he's going to get a lot of juice back from it. He still has that Chronosphere. They get a kill on the Lion. That was not a track kill. Now Steph Style going to start laying those down on the Enchantress. Ember Spirit does have spirits to jump to, but it seems like an Ench is a little bit too far away. That's still fine. They get the Lion, don't really commit a ton there, and Lion does use his Finger of Death. Super long cooldown on that ultimate, and they're not going to have to worry about that for a little bit. For the Cookies side, this is just going to be a map presence game. They have so much pickoff power with the Bounty Hunter, and now Ember Spirit's going to be able to split push. Flow is going to get kind of jumped by Pablo. That cast actually not going towards the Phantom Lancer, but he's still going to get tracked up. Jelly's going to time walk over the hill, grab Slander, grab the hero that can save the other heroes. Should they call on the Chronosphere? His damage with the Bounty Hunter, not quite enough. Slander gets back down to the low ground, and now the Brewmaster's going to come in. They will kill off the IO in the end. Death Ward is going to be deployed, and that will buy Adam just a little bit more extra space. The rush in, Flow's going to grab the kill, albeit barely. Another Sleight of Fist is going to fly out. Flen's still looking very healthy. He's going to jump all the way down to the bottom rune. The IO is going to fall, but they lose the Queen of Pain for it. Chronosphere for the IO. I like the idea, but I'm not sure if the Chronosphere is worth just that one hero.
So, did you see Pablo pick up a naked Aghanim Scepter on the Witch Doctor?
Oh, I
it's
did
not
not.
even
That's
20 minutes.
Yeah.
So that's available. And even though he's rushed this naked Aghanim Scepter, the Bounty Hunter's also got a mech as well as Arcane Boots. It just goes to show how much gold is going into Cookie's pockets with each of these successful track kills. And this is bad news for Elements. It's major items coming up onto Cookie's heroes, making their team fight stronger, as well as giving them extra sustain, which is something that you don't really want to be giving away as Elements. You've got a strong draft, you've got a lot of team fight control, but at some point, the control on Cookies is going to be a little bit too much for Elements to handle. And I think Jelly's going to see Flow, but the Void can't really do anything by himself. So they're going to send in Steph Style to go in for a bit of a scouting mission to see how many heroes are in that jungle.
Flow is track-proof with that Doppelganger, so he's not even going to bother throwing that out. He will put down a fresh Observe Ward, keep eyes up in the area, and in fact this area is very well warded by the Dire side. They'll see the Lion passing in. Lion doesn't have exactly a lot of gold, but he's going to get jumped regardless. Track Shuriken, dropped super low already, jump in from Adam, couple right clicks, he'll grab the Lion, and Steph Style's still pretty darn healthy. Slander is going to relocate in by himself though. Now here comes that Aghanim Scepter, Death Ward, they'll shred the IO. The split is going to be there. They're going to try to travel into Pablo right now. Straight TP out for this Witch Doctor. Is he going to make it out again? No! This time he'll get caught out, and he will go down. But it's Brewmaster and Phantom Lancer up against the world right now. They'll have the Enchantress arrive. Chronosphere is going to land onto absolutely nothing, and Jelly now stunned up and dead. Oh, geez, Lotus Sphere all up in this game. That's still not the worst trade for Cookies, I suppose, but, man, Chronospheres, I heard they're pretty good when they land on a hero. Unfortunately, we're not going to see that just yet. Flen still is going to get away with quite a bit of cash. Cookies still taking a decent exchange, all things considered, and Elements kind of getting a freebie there, but Cookies, with that angle of initiation, you would expect their fight to go so much better. They even still have a Sonic Wave. I'm not sure if that was on cooldown when that fight was actually happening, but now we have Elements actually smoking up. They have a ping out for the Ember Spirit. That is a big kill, and it will be Lion in the front. If they can catch an angle onto Flens, they will jump in, hex him up. Spike is here with the Finger of Death. He's going to drop first. And it seems like they're going to think about going for Steph Style. They probably don't have enough damage to get him. Ember Spirit on the sidelines for 40 seconds. Element's going to try to make a play on the high ground with no Chronosphere on the other end. That's kind of risky.
Would you really think it's risky? The Chronosphere is the only main source of control for Cookies.
There's Death Ward and Sonic Wave.
But they've got ways to cancel the Death Ward now.
Well, I mean, the Brewmaster's dropping kind of low. Slander's actually funneling all the health into Flow. They will grab the tier 3 tower. So far, no engagement. Yeah, the control really is lacking here on the Cookie side. They can throw a cast, but with all those illusions, it's actually going to be kind of unfortunate for Pablo that it gets dragged over to the illusions. They're going to charge forward now. Track onto the Brewmaster, but that's the only hero that they actually see, and that's not the hero that they really want to go for. Flow now looking to intercept them in the backlines. He'll throw out the lance, slowing down the Faceless Void. Further slowing down their crowd control. No Chronosphere, no fight, it seems. Cookies are going to lose a tier 3 tower. Take a little bit of damage onto their rain tracks. Not the end of the world, far from it. Tier 3 tower is kind of an acceptable casualty at this point. But Elements, are they really going to keep going for this one? Because by this time, the Chronosphere is up. They're going to look towards the Brewmaster. He's going to get caught. Solo Chronosphere. Where's the Death Ward? Not going to be used by Pablo just yet. Now it is. That's death of the Brewmaster. But Elements can absorb that and walk away, knowing that Cookies have used 2 ultimates. Queen of Pain jumping forward. Tracks up onto the Enchantress. Jelly's going to time walk into the front. He's pretty darn quick with his item build. They're going to look for the Enchantress. She is probably the hardest hero to kill right now, especially with Flow right behind her. He'll slow down Steph Style. Adam doesn't have enough to actually kill off an Ench. He's going to have to blink away. Still, Diffusal is up. And Flo is going to keep laying those Purge charges in. Cass is going to fly. Adam's going to turn around for a Sonic Wave onto 3 heroes. Blink Away is going to keep him alive as Jelly's going to come in from the back. And now here comes the Ember Spirit. Big Sleight of Fist, and Flo is going to get chopped down. Can they catch chains onto anyone? They have another slight chains soon. I don't think it's quite in range. It's going to miss again. That's the second or third time that's actually missed for the Ember Spirit. I want to say if they land that, they get at least another kill there, but for all said and done, they lose the Phantom Lancer elements. They go just a little bit too far in.
So with all that's said and done, Cookies, they're going to back up. Not really going to bother with grabbing that T2. They got to be super happy with how everything went, though. They've got so many track kills on top of that chase elements. Obviously, the element of surprise for Cookies, it's just too strong. Like, Chronosphere blowing up the Brewmaster meant that not only the frontliner was dead for elements, but a huge part of their teamfight control wasn't available to them. Unfortunately for elements, they're very reliant on that primal split to be popped off and to have those the 3 Brewlings to really work with. But because it's still up, they're actually going to smoke up, go down mid, and they're going to try and see if they can actually pick someone off and continue on down this journey down to that mid set of Raxes. No one going to show themselves yet, but this could be bad for Jelly, as he's going to run into 5 heroes if he's not careful. And there we go. Insta-Hex. Jelly is dead. And also with the actually, Chronosphere is up. He can buy back for it, so going up high ground against the Chronosphere. This is a different story compared to last time, so elements, they've got to be very careful now.
They still have a lot of damage with their heroes. Buyback is forced out by the Faceless Void. Can they still snag the range Raxes? Not huge, but at least it's something. The Brewmaster's going to jump in and just look to buy space. Range Raxes down. They do have the Aghanim Scepter on this Brew, so he's going to be able to throw out quite a lot more spells, including the Blind onto Flens from the Drunken Haze. Sleight of Fist still going to be there, but the melee Raxes getting dropped slowly but surely. Chronosphere this time is going to drop onto 2 heroes with the Death Ward as well. It's going to bounce through, and Slander fails to relocate Yank out on Flo because he goes a little bit too close, and he's going to fall. 2 kills, but they get the melee and range Raxes. They're going to grab the Lion as well. Another track kill, and now they have eyes on the Enchantress. In the meantime, it's caught in the back lines, trying to go for the Queen of Pain. Will fail in that regard. It's still Enchantress on the run. They're looking at a full 5-man wipe. Is it worth the Raxes? I'm not quite sure. The crackback isn't going to be huge. They're going to stop a couple of cooldowns here for this Enchantress. Jelly's doing what he can. Gets a lucky first hit bash after that time walk. It looks like they just don't have enough control nor enough damage. They're going to jump with the dagger now. Scream. Sonic Wave is available, but I don't think they really need it. Oh, they got him barely with that poison. Cookies, though, they lose their Raxes. They're going to go for their Roshan afterwards. They take a great team fight, but the damage, is that worth it? Was the damage good enough?
It's really hard to say. For Cookies, they still lost the Raxes, right? So there's going to be a lot of pressure going down mid lane consistently, and they've only got one hero that can really deal with that efficiently right now, which is going to be the Ember Spirit, which honestly, for them, they're very lucky to be running an Ember Spirit just because he will be able to go back and then leave a remnant with his team if they do decide to go for any sort of pressure. The only worrying thing is that they can't just go for this consistent pressure willy-nilly. They really have to time their push as well. And they sort of just left Roche. They said, this is happening too slowly. We're too worried that there could be a team fight coming out from Elements, and they're just going to forfeit the Aegis here. They've got no Chronosphere either, so the fight wouldn't really be safe. Are they going to keep on going into contest this, though?
Neither team could actually kill Roshan super quickly, so Cookies can still do this. Split us up on the Brewmaster. There is a Chronosphere in 5 seconds. I don't think they're going to have the time for it. Jelly's going to jump in, dilate some time. They're going to go for Fervian. Sonic Wave does get chucked out as well. And the Death Ward from the high ground is going to kill off the Io and the Phantom Lancer as well. Beautiful plays from Pablo, and now they're looking at the final remnants. It's the Enchantress who's netted down. Flens is going to chase forward. He's grabbed the Aegis. Did they actually kill the Roshan as well? Oh yes, Dire got absolutely everything, including a full 5-man wipe. They lose their Faceless Void. No Chronosphere, no problem. It's going to be a wipe with multiple track kills. This Death Ward is just demolishing the element side. Mid lane not looking too great. Someone's going to have to deal with that. There are no travels or TP on the Ember Spirit, so it's not going to be him. But man, Pablo from the outer edge of the where the tier 1 tower used to be for the Dire, dropping a Death Ward, crushing through the IO pretty much single-handedly, and bouncing over towards the Phantom Lancer. That was a convincing team fight from Cookies, to say the least.
That was also a Witch Doctor without an Ether Lens. Just imagine how much more difficult it is going to be for Elements once the Witch Doctor picks that up for the extra cast range on the ward. Although, Flens, is he just... okay, he's going to just give the Aegis away. Well, He shouldn't really die here. If he does, then it'll be a huge loss. He does get out, so that's going to be fine. Although they'd get the tower denied. Not too sure if I wouldn't be too happy wasting the Aegis like that for the Ember Spirit, though. They honestly could have saved that for another day.
Yeah, just trying to play a little bit too fast and loose, getting blindsided by the Lion yet again, who, by the way, still doesn't have a Blink Dagger, so that was just a pretty simple walk into Hex play. No either lens to help out that Hex range either. Ember Spirit maybe just a little bit slow on that one, didn't expect the Lion to come from there. Either way, the advantage from that Roshan is going to be non-existent any longer, yet still they get a lot of extra golden experience from all those track kills from the Roshan himself, and they're still able to take a really good teamfight. Net worth, top 3 in fact. Ember Spirit, Queen of Pain, and Bounty Hunter, actually. He's going to go for the Guardian Greaves. He's going to go now for a Dagon. I'm not sure if Bounty Hunter has enough to... he definitely has enough to insta-give the Lion. Maybe not the IO, but burst damage definitely the name of the game if you're going up against the Enchantress. So I don't mind this build too much coming out from the Bounty.
Well, he's got the extra gold to work with, though. He's rich this game. He is above the PL, if anything. If that doesn't say something, I don't know what does. So,
and
for the
Witch
moment,
Doctor's
though,
not
Lion,
too far away either. He's just 1,000 behind the PL.
Lion is right next to the Bounty. Now, Bounty is sitting in his invis. And it looks like Lion's going to be getting away, hiding in this really cute spot.
No,
I don't think he's revealed himself. That's going to be it.
Sneaky plays will get popped off. That's another track kill. They'll lose their tower, jump in from Jelly. They're going to catch the Brewmaster with the ultimate. Dagon is there, plus a Sleight of Fist. Slander once again fails the yank out, and Kata's going to be burned down. Still Silence, can't even split. They're now all onto Slander. It's going to be 3 track kills for the Cookies side, all for a tier 2. Still, again, as per normal, mid lane not looking fantastic. Would like to see a travel pickup on the Ember Spirit to try to deal with that, but it's so much extra cash, and now the Witch Doctor, just 200 gold behind the enemy Brewmaster, still about 1,000 gold behind that Phantom Lancer, but Cookies, they finally land a decent Chronosphere, and they take yet another massive engagement just because of, now I want to say like most of these engagements are going so well because Pablo has picked up that super early Aghanim Scepter.
Yeah, that does seem to be the case. I'm not too sure. What are your thoughts on the Brewmaster Aghanims in general? I can't help but feel like it's really lackluster of an item on the Brewmaster. It's great that you're getting the Mist Chance as well as the Thunderclap, but it doesn't really add anything else on top of the Brewlings. I don't know. Personally, I don't really like the item and how it's been balanced around the brew. It feels like it needs a little bit more to be that value pick. Even the stats don't really make it that attractive for what it provides.
I personally liked it a little bit more when it just made all your Brewlings like more jacked. It just gave them more stats and whatnot. In this game in particular, I'm not sure if this is the build simply because of the existence of Faceless Void. He doesn't care if the Brewmaster is in his main form or if he's split, because he will get frozen no matter what. And just this pick and picking up Brewmaster voluntarily into a Faceless Void, kind of a question mark here from Elements. This hero needs to control the tempo of the game with his, or tempo of the fights rather, with his ultimate, but for Cookies, they have a Faceless Void. You can't out-control a Chronosphere. It just can't be done. Literally cannot be done. So this Brewmaster maybe would have been slightly better off if he just went for a little bit of straight bulk. I like the Vlads. I like that pickup quite a bit. Along those lines, Assault Cuirass, those type of items, maybe even go for the more of a damage route. This Aghanim Scepter is definitely, well, at least not doing nearly as much as the Aghanim Scepter that we see on the Witch Doctor. Up towards top lane, Jelly, is he at all vulnerable here? There's a haste rune on the Lion plus a level 1 Finger of Death, and they'll catch him with the Hex. A couple of Impetus Spears from far away, Finger of Death is there, and they'll grab the kill on the Void, and stun up Steph Style on the TP in. Pretty nice kill there for Elements.
We've got the Ember Spirit chasing down the Enchantress. Now, it looks like the Lion's going to be able to get out. He's got the TP available, and yeah, it looks like the Enchantress is going to be getting out. Although they're going to relocate the Wisp as well as the Brewmaster in, and Slander's dead. Everyone was a little bit too far going into that fight. Steph Cell should be dropping here, though. He's going to be very quick. He pops the heal off. Is he going to be taken down? He does. And all of a sudden, we've got Cookies in a bit of a weird spot. Without the Void here, he can't even buy back. There's no main control. They're going to get a kill onto Adam as well. 3 heroes wipe them off the face of the planet really quickly as Elements take a very interesting gank route, and it works, catching Cookies completely off guard.
Losing their IO, not really a terribly huge deal. As long as they're able to keep Flo and the Enchantress out of harm's way, then kind of mission accomplished. Cookies, their Queen of Pain blinked into the trees, got stuck, and then the Ember Spirit killed the trees, so they actually saw the Queen of Pain. Maybe they could have seen her otherwise, but she had a 10-second BKB charge there, and you die with a 10-second BKB charge in a fight that took as long as that one did. Really is a situation that is most of the time avoidable. So for the Cookies, not exactly the best team fight in the world. Luckily for them, because Faceless Void is still alive and Ember Spirit is still alive, they should be able to hold their base for just a little while longer. Elements will kind of struggle to go upwards for more structures, but the Cookie side, I don't know, like sometimes it feels like, at least in this game, they're just the most amazing team in the world, but then you have team fights like that where there are quite a few just personal errors and elements just catch them off guard. Cookie's not really showing consistency in this match, in this game, I feel.
And if they don't show something soon, they might be losing a set of Raxes. They can't afford to have that. Good news, though, is that they have the Faceless Void. And I feel like Jelly has been he has been performing very well this game. He's made some amazing Chronosphere plays, although he also has made a couple of blunders, but if he lands those Chronospheres, he places them very, very nicely. He never catches his target off the edge of the Chrono. It's typically he'll sit them right in the middle, as we've seen, I think 3 to 4 times now. When the Wisp tries to go for the tether out, Slanders actually tethers into the Chrono, hence cancelling out the relocate.
Yeah.
So
if you're a little bit faster, or if your timing is a little bit better, you can avoid that issue entirely just by holding the relocate channel for a little while longer, if that makes any sense, and then tether immediately
just
yank out.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we haven't really seen that from the IO, so unfortunately every single time he's tried to make that save, he ends up walking into it himself, which is unfortunate to say the least, because I can't help but feel that the good reason why the IO was picked up in the first place was to handle the Chronosphere. Again, it's a hard skill to out-control. IO is one of the heroes that at least has a chance at doing it, but Slender not exactly showing off that he is completely comfortable with this hero, and yeah, to that line, we've also seen quite a few just mechanical errors from the Ember Spirit. Several missearing chain sleight of fists, which in the last fight I don't think would have gotten them a super easy kill, but there were definitely situations in this game. So yeah, a couple mistakes pretty much across the board, but as it stands right now, it might be time for both teams to kind of just chill out and wait for this next Roche.
Okay, so while we're waiting, let's take a look at everybody's inventories. Actually, let's look at this smoke instead. Elements, interestingly enough, they want to keep putting pressure on this map onto Cookies. They never want to be the ones
Jelly.
And they found Jelly too. This is such an ideal hero. He hasn't got buyback too. Oh, this actually might... Okay, this is where Cookies may be kicking themselves, because they really, really need the setup for the Faceless Void, but they're going to chase down the Brewmaster, who's by himself. Everyone sort of left him.
10-second BKB. That's clearly Queen of Pain kind of showing her surprise that they left the Brewmaster there as well. It's like, oh, there's definitely going to be a big fight here. But nowhere close to a big fight. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade after all is said and done. The Brewmaster's contribution to this fight, kind of a question mark, and Cookies definitely need the Faceless Void if they're going to convincingly win a fight every single time. So I guess that's okay for the Element side, but especially pulling out that 10-second BKB charge out of the Queen of Pain. But right now, for the Elements, they have a Phantom Lancer, and late game Phantom Lancer is all well and good, but this is, again, Phantom Lancer going up against Ember Spirit and Chronosphere. I feel like if Cookies just get Travels, first of all, and Flens, and then manage the Ember Spirit's survivability properly, they should be able to just slow roll this game. The only thing they really have to fear is this Blink Dagger online, which they got caught off guard by, well, just now to kill out the Faceless Void, but as long as they have eyes up to see this Lion, they should be more or less okay.
It's an invisible Lion, though. So if there's any... They're probably going to be relocating in to try and grab a kill with whoever the Lion finds. It just depends if someone does... Assuming Witch Doctor doesn't go there. Because Lion also has a gem. So if Cookies somehow runs a Witch Doctor into the Lion and their support too, they'll get a free gem, which will be a huge gold swing.
Ooh, Steph style, don't go up there. No one go up there, Cookies. It's a bad place.
Pablo's waiting in base, so he's definitely not going to be finding the Lion anytime soon. This is going to end up being a wasted invis, but they're going to smoke. Oh, can he actually break the smoke?
No, they walk right by him, and they're going to find the Enchantress. She's tracked up. She'll blink away. And everyone else from Elements will know exactly what's going on right now. Cookie's now kind of surrounded. Their mid lane, again, is not really in a great spot. Please, someone handle this mid lane situation. They're losing quite a lot of just random chip damage. Even the fact that tier 4 is almost dead already. They catch up to Slender, blink forward from Adam, and with the Shiva's guard, right click, still grab the kill, big crit. And now the Brewmaster is going to split, but let's see how much damage he actually does. So far, like 0, and it's still going to be 0. Phantom Lance is going to capture the Witch Doctor, though, and shred him. Jelly, in the meantime, going to blink out. Brewmaster ultimate, actually no damage done. They kill off the Witch Doctor, they trade the IO, but the split is down for Elements. And for Cookies, I think they still are, well, they're definitely powerful enough to contest this Roshan, assuming they get their mid lane situation together.
They've lost the gem though. When the Witch Doctor dropped, Elements managed to secure the gem. I really like how Elements played that though. They had the line scouting in the back lines, and he actually spotted out the Witch Doctor. And they knew how big of a threat he is. So they decided to snipe him in the backside where the creeps were chasing the Witch Doctor. The PL boots had traveled in, and they just insta-gibbed him right off the bat. They didn't want to have anything to do with him. So, Witch Doctor's going to be down for 15 seconds. Both teams are hesitant to really attempt this Roche. Obviously, they both want it, but for Cookies, they'd rather be the ones to sort of jump onto Elements while they're trying to attempt that Roche. But for now, they're just going to sort of leave it. I'm wondering if maybe Elements or Cookies consider trying to go in for a bit of a smoke into that Roche and go for a quick steal.
The problem for Cookies is that they don't have a Vlad's or any sort of similar item. No lifesteal at all, actually. So going into the Roche pit is going to cost them quite a bit of health, and the damage that they do towards Roshan isn't extremely high. Like, Flens has a Daedalus, and that's pretty nice, but Roshan is going to be a pretty slow takedown in Elements. Right on the outset, we'll have another split in 5 seconds, so they will have it by the time a fight breaks down if they need it. They also have a Finger of Death cooling down. Slander's going to scat out with a couple of the balls. Going to connect on to Jelly, going to connect on to Flens. Escada's going to jump in and just split right on the outsets to get them a TP angle in. Chronosphere is going to block off the Actus route, though, but Roshan's still being down onto the Ember Spirit. Sonic Wave is going to fly through. They'll lose the Ember Spirit. Mostly to Roshan. Pablo's up on the high ground. He'll channel the Death Ward, but there are no viable targets. Ton of illusions, plus the Brewlings. They'll buy back on the Ember Spirit. The Roshan is still alive. It's going to be dropped, though. Grabbed by Flo. And now they're looking at the Ember Spirit. He'll jump away up to the high ground. Kata's right on his tail. He'll jump away one more time. Flo's up on the high ground. Adam is there, and they're going to jump in fact. Try to kill off this Phantom Lance, so they'll take down the Aegis. And the cast still bouncing through. Here comes the Enchantress. Has some shots from the low ground. Gonna miss, unfortunately. And that should just about be it. It cost them a buyback on the Ember Spirit, however. They're going to blink forward with Jelly, looking for someone else. He's going to lose all of his mana. They see the Enchantress, and they will stun her up. And she should be picked off, although Flo and Kata are both here. Enchantress still alive. Maldic should tick her off, and it will. Flo's in the middle of everything, though, with a lot of HP. Big Sleight of Fist going to cut through onto the Brewmaster, and he's going to get torn to shreds. Slander and Enchantress both getting back in this fight with the buyback on the end. They're looking at Jelly, but he's going to time walk away and then blink away. They lose the Courier in the meantime, but while all this is happening, Elements, they're getting so much damage done over in the mid lane. Cookies are failing to answer this Raxing earlier, and they're actually losing quite a bit for it. For Elements, they do walk away with a survival on the PL, and that in and of itself, I think, marks a win for the Elements team.
And not just that, but they also managed to grab essentially deny the Aegis from Cookies. God, that team fight went so badly in the Roche pit. The Chronosphere was almost perfect, but it just clipped the Ember Spirit. It was maybe a pixel or two. He was just on the very edge of it, and it was also sitting right in the middle of the Brewlings. He essentially melted to death, and if he dies now, that's going to be it. That's going to be one of their main DPS down for 90 seconds. Oh, God.
That's the second time that Chronosphere happened also. It happened on the bottom lane exactly the same way, where the Ember Spirit was just right on the edge.
This is not the position that you want to be. Oh, this is obviously one of the huge downsides of running a melee core with the Faceless Void.
They see the Enchantress, though. They'll blink in, cancel her TP, Dagon Blast, Dagger, Orchid. It's all there, but oh, Chronosphere gonna whip again! Slander this time getting in there with the relocate out, and now Jelly, well, he's gonna get spiked up. Lots of damage coming out from this Enchantress with those big spears. Not quite enough, though. Pablo's gonna drop the Death Ward, and he will kill off a handful of heroes. Brewmaster's going to arrive with Flo. They have Pablo in a corner, but they can't actually hit him to cancel that Blink Dagger out, so he's going to survive. But Cookies, they lose their Faceless Void and their Ember Spirit in the end. Queen of Pain is gonna get her TP canceled by a tornado. She'll drop into not that much crowd control because the Lion is actually dead. But still, Cookies, they end up botching their Chronosphere for the up team time. Now Flo's just going to charge the high ground. Cass going to slow him down, but he has an Eye of Scotty. He's so tanky and getting back up now from the Brewmaster. Hazes out onto Pablo for some reason. That's not actually going to do a ton, but Flo, oh, he's going to doppelgang away. Is this Maledict lethal damage? I don't think it actually is. It's definitely going to be close. He's going to live. The Brewmaster, maybe not as much, so he's going to get hit with the time dilation. All the slows in the book, plus a track, and he will take a spill. Cookies mount some sort of defense after all. But man, this game has been not the cleanest, to say the least.
This is definitely a very messy game. But my goodness, I wasn't expecting Cookies to be able to make such a defense. They had the Ember Spirit down, which is a lot of their physical damage taken off the map. The Faceless Void Chronosphere whiffing, like, there's so many things that went terribly wrong for Cookies, but they somehow managed to fend off elements and prevent them from actually taking anything outside of those couple of hero kills. And I can't help but feel like it was just elements getting a little bit too ahead of themselves, trying to dive deep into the base to try and grab some of those kills. But elements at this point, for them to just win the game, they need to just slow it down a little bit, try not to overextend, and just slowly start chipping away at some of, either start chipping away at some of the side lanes. Otherwise, if they take a really successful fight, they could actually consider just going straight down mid, because the one last T4 standing is only at 300 HP. So that is vulnerable to being taken down. And I think that might be what elements could be considering here if they do manage to take a really good team fight.
Just as a side note right now, Lion has the least net worth on the element side, yet I feel like at this point, because he has that Blink Dagger, he's doing like some of the most work on the element side. Of course, like damage output, that's pretty much all in the realm of the Enchantress and the Phantom Lancer at this point, but we can see the difference of the elements team with a Lion with a Blink Dagger and a Lion without a Blink Dagger. It's night and day. I mean, the dude is doing so much work right now. He caught off the Ember Spirit off guard, has caught off the Faceless Void off guard several times. Fervian with that Blink Dagger is really what's letting elements keep up with the Cookie side, despite being 20 kills behind, 21 kills behind, with a good majority of those being tracks. Initiation, it seems like every single time it's being controlled by elements, and that's because they have a Lion in the game. Turns out Lion's a good hero once you get a Blink Dagger up, and they have just enough right-click damage to make something happen afterwards. They're still looking to bait someone in on this top lane. Lion is going to keep himself hidden in the trees. The backup is here. They will not have travels, however, on the Phantom Lancer, nor is the IO in an area to yank him in, so this should not be a place where elements stick around too long.
They're probably hoping that Cookie sticks around long enough so that some of these spells, or at least the Boot to Travels, come off cooldown. And for now, Cookies, they just want some vision. They want lane vision. They want to spot out where some of these heroes are. And the only one they see so far is the Enchantress. Now they're going to be spotting out the Brewmaster as well. And it instantly gets taken out. So that's even more vision off the map now for Cookies.
Oh,
Another...
He's
got support though.
Brewmaster, oh, it's a bait though. He's going to pop the BKB. Finger Death is there. He's going to BKB, try to split, but it's not going to work. The damage onto the Brewmaster isn't going to be good enough. Flows now onto Pablo, and Kata's still going to get a split off. A huge victory here for Elements. They kill the Queen of Pain, and now they're just going to charge forward. Everyone's going to blink away. Steph Style is in the trees right now. A random Io Spirit is going to land for Fervian. Does he have anything? No. They'll force a buyback on the Queen of Pain, however. The Brewmaster still survives. Chronosphere this time pretty much comboed perfectly with that Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor's still dead now, plus with no Chronosphere. Can Elements go for anything additional? If they get a Blink initiation onto anyone, then it's going to be good enough. There it is onto Flans. Fervian may give his life for it, but the damage on the Flans is going to be high enough. They'll lose the Lion. Flans still actually going to survive. And now the Enchantress netted down in tower range is going to get caught off guard. Elements, they overshot way too far. Slander does not have a relocate out here for Flo. He's tanky, but he has one too many heroes behind him. With the track there, blast goes the Dagon, and there goes the Phantom Lancer. I said it before, this game is not clean. There have been so many just weird plays, and I think that's just one of them. Chalk up another one.
And the same thing happened again. Elements, they keep trying to go for these kills in the Cookie's base, but they just can't burst down the heroes quick enough to make it worth it. They really need to slow it down a little bit. I think they really are getting ahead of themselves. The tower in the mid lane isn't pushing, as Cookies have been a little bit more focused in making sure that that creep wave doesn't go anywhere inside their base anymore. So you can't really rely on the creeps to go for the push, unless Element somehow keeps Cookies' attention long enough for that to happen. But with how Cookies is playing it now, they're going to make sure that they have a little bit more of the creep equilibrium by taking down the T2, extra gold going into their pockets for this as well, and they are grouped up. They've got all of their ultimates outside of Sonic Wave available. Whereas for Elements, they've got everything outside of their Finger of Death, but that comes online in about a second. So they've essentially got everything. And Cookies, they probably are not going to be going high ground. Or are they? They're actually... Don't make the Elements play here, Cookies. You really don't have that much room for error.
Well, the Phantom Lancer is going to be up soon. Cookies still have a good majority of their ultimate. Sonic Wave is down. It seems like they will decide to fall back. They're still getting quite a lot of cash here. In fact, Bounty Hunter now is going to go ahead and grab that Lotus Orb. So, there are quite a few spells to reflect. Hex, of course, being... What happened?
I was just yelling at Pablo to stay in the Roche Pit. It just respawned.
Jelly, though. He's going to get hexed up. Spike, Chain Stun is there. It's going to be returned only to Fervian, however. Big Sleight of Fist. Going to drop Fervian low, force out the Guardian Greaves, and jump away. No big deal, guys. No big deal. Everyone's still surviving. Everyone's okay.
Roche is up, though.
Yeah.
And obviously this is going to be a huge contesting point. Both teams want that Aegis. And also, it's not just Aegis. It's the cheese. It's the third Roshan of the game. Obviously, this is an asset that both teams want to make the most of. And for Cookies, at this point, would you say it's a bit easier for them to access the Roche just because they have such great Roshan teamfight?
Yeah, I mean, for Elements, they can commit at this point just the Brewmaster, and he will be able to take the Roshan down with, one other hero because he has that Vlad's, not losing any HP from it. That's kind of nice, but there's one too many things to worry about for Elements, so they will have to be the ones constantly scouting in. That's where Enchantress's Enchant is going to come into play. Keep throwing in those random neutrals just to try to get some eyes occasionally on the Roche Pit and hopefully set up for, I don't know, like a big Lion Spike. As long as Elements are well spread out, they can contest this pretty regularly, plus they have the mid lane advantage going their way as well. But no matter how you slice it, Cookies should have the vast advantage, just having the mobility that they have, everyone and their mom with the Blink Dagger, and all these AoE teamfight ultimates as well. Elements, they also lack the damage to just quickly jump in and steal it and then leave. Like, Phantom Lancer, not that great versus Roche because illusions don't work.
Yeah, it's a shame. And they don't even have anything like a Slaughter or a Diffusal Carrier or even a Medallion for that minus armor. That definitely would help them when it comes to Roshing, but it looks like no one's really decided to prioritize that minus armor at least. But for now, we're just going to have both teams sort of camping their sides of the map near that Roche Pit, just waiting for someone to go in. And who's going to be the first one to make the move? It could be Cookies, as they've purchased up the Smoke of Deceit on the Lion. Not Cookies, Elements. Wrong team. I'm sorry. It is nighttime.
Nice.
It's late.
Nice. Okay, I'll buy that. I know how it is. We do have a situation, however, where Elements, at the moment, they have double evasion. I guess, I don't know, triple quad evasion. Brewmaster with the Drunken Haze and Brawler and Talisman evasion. Very difficult to hit. Flow with Talisman evasion as well. Cookies need to get some MKBs out right now. They will not have really anything to deal with that, and this is where the Ember Spirit may have been a little bit better off going for the Monkey King bar as opposed to this Daedalus, which he currently has. Hitting the likes of Brewmaster is damn near impossible when you have Drunken Haze on you, so you have to have some answer to that, and right now he has absolutely none. Big smoke up here from Elements. Fervian once again pushing forward just by himself. Death Style is invis with the gem. They're going to jump in, find Adam. Clap is there with the spike. And Chronoster is going to land onto 3 heroes. Fervian's going to drop immediately. The small yank in here from Slander, but Pablo still channeling his ultimate. Loses vision. Now he's going to get a little bit back, but he's going to get torn to shreds shortly afterwards. Flow is going to purge off that Diffusal Blade. Grab the kill on the Witch Doctor. He's down for the count. Slander's not too healthy, but he's going to get yanked right back to where he started from. With Enchantress still in tow, Flow's going to charge it with a massive army looking for this Queen of Pain. She has a blink out. She'll get away. And Enchantress is going to look to chase, can't quite catch up and kill off the Queen of Pain. It's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. However, all the ultimates from Cookies are down. Flint's going to jump in, trying to go for this Enchantress. She's very tanky at this point, but not tanky enough. The Ember Spirit's damage with Steph Styles' Dagon Blast is going to kill her off. Now, Elements, are they on full retreat? It seems like they are. They take a rather even-ish engagement. Cookies, all their ultimates are down, but Elements, they're not comfortable moving forward because Phantom Lancer is only at half HP. He lacks the heart or Vlad's or anything like that to regenerate really quickly back up to full. Cookies, if they take another team fight though, they may end up regretting it because they don't have that ultimate firepower. Jelly's gonna catch the Slander. Flow's there as well. This army of illusions is pretty big, and Jelly's gonna very quickly find that one out as Flow. Just gonna tear the Faceless Point apart. He's gonna get the Echo Shell. He's gonna get enough time to time walk a lot of that damage back. Flow, he's on the run right now with Flutter. He's going to try to purge himself with the track, but another one gets applied. Here comes the IO, going to give Flow just a little bit of extra health, and it looks like he's in the corner trying to travel out. Is he really going to survive? He will. Slander, he's tracked up now. He's going to relocate into his own doom, but Phantom Lancer lives. This game is crazy, man. I have no idea what's going on anymore. If Fervian, what are you doing, bro? Careful, man.
Oh, no.
Is he just dead? He's just dead. He's just gonna get dagged into the face. Echo Shell is there, but it won't actually reflect the Hex. And ideal scenario, there goes the Dagon. You're in the wrong neighborhood, Lion. That's not where you want to be.
So one major point to note here is Jelly has enough gold to pick up an Aghanim Scepter now if he wants to. And if you pick up an Ags on the Faceless Void, then you can essentially say that Chronosphere will have... its cooldown will be almost non-existent considering how the fights are happening. They're not consistently... it's not just consistent fights, but some of them are so drawn out that there's probably going to be opportunities for Jelly to potentially get 2 Chronospheres in one team fight. Which, for Elements, is scary because their spells, like their major spells, some of them still have major cooldowns, like Primal Split is still on a 100-second cooldown. You can't really rely on that consistently. You need to still save that. You have to use it sparingly. But it seems for now, Roche will be taken for Cookies, Aegis, as well as the cheese will be available to them. They're going to jump in with the Brewmaster. He pops the ultimate. Now, can he go for a steal? No, he can't. Ember Spirit picks it up in time, but the team fight's still happening, and Change is throwing a couple of pot shots onto Adam. We've got the Death Ward still going through. Flame's still trying to fight. He's got the Aegis though, but if he loses it now, it could be a huge asset down the drain. He just gets out in the nick of time. 75 HP. Again, Chase Staff Style. The Chronosphere from Jelly. It's going to buy his team a little bit of extra time. Pablo comes in as well, and Flow to fall. They're going to lose the Brewmaster as well. Another successful team fight. The Queen of Pain dies, but for Cookies, you keep the Aegis. You kept everything that you wanted in that Roche. Like, Flynn's just getting away with the flicker of HP. If he dies to creeps, it may be a little embarrassing. Flynn,
not like this.
Oh, 25 HP.
That would be super embarrassing, but thankfully for him, we're not going to see that, at least not right now. He walks away with the Aegis. He does a lot of damage because this time he has that True Strike from that Monkey King bar, so he's not going to be missing up against the Haze or the Talisman of Evasions or whatnot. The Cookies side also gets kind of fortunate enough that the Phantom Lancer doppelgangs in an attempt to just get into the middle of that fight, but ends up stuck on the high ground. And whenever any melee carry stuck on the high ground, it's going to be really bad. But Phantom Lancer is really the only source of damage from the element side. I mean, him and the Enchantress, I suppose. And just having a hero that hits for 300 damage a pop, with a chance of making even more damage happen with that those illusions and the Diffusal Blade, not hitting anyone in that fight is a pretty large godsend by the Cookies side. The Brewmaster split, it's disruptive, but again, it's not really going to be crushing Cookies anytime soon. It's not really a damaging ultimate, it's almost purely a control ultimate, and it will always be that case. So it is Elements taking a rough fight around the Roche pit, and that's what we were talking about before. It's Cookies' advantage all the way in this area with very, very few exceptions. So Elements will have everyone alive by the time any push is going to come down to their end of the map. But it seems like for right now they are bottled up in their own space until Cookies time out with this Aegis.
So, quick update on the tower. Now, during that team fight, it did drop to 160 HP. So this tower is dropping dangerously low, and if that falls at some point, Elements is going to take that as a hint and may start slowly chipping down that Ancient once it's exposed. And for Cookies, obviously, you never want that to happen, so they'll keep on pushing out the creep wave, but if a long fight happens again and there's no one to defend that tower, expect that to be dropping, and for Elements, once they realize, the game might change a little bit. I've been casting a lot of the Chinese scene, and I'm not too sure if you watched them, Mike, but base racing has been a thing over in China, and we might see one in this game.
I want to say that when the game comes down to base races, then something really bad went wrong for at least one of those teams. But I don't know the circumstances behind it, so I'll take your word for it. But as you said, that is pretty much the best access for Elements to get some sort of big objective right now, because it seems like they're starting to more and more convincingly lose these team fights unless they get some sort of miracle positioning, some bad Chronosphere or something like that to really get them back into it. But you could go take an okay fight, go straight down the middle lane, force out buybacks, and that's really a big asset for the Element side. If they can pull that one out, they're going to, well, take a little bit of damage over in the mid tier 2. Jelly's going to jump in, Chronosphere only into the Enchantress. That's not the hero you want to catch. Death Ward is going to be now funneled into that Enchantress as well. Slander's going to fail to yank her out. Enchantress still healing up quite a bit, will fall in the end. Where's the Phantom Lancer? He hasn't done anything in this fight so far, struggling to find an access route in as the Brewmaster Ultimate is going to push forward. They do have a rock thrown towards Death Style. It's going to be dodged because of that invis. And Flo is still charging in, but Flen's doing a lot of chip damage on the retreat. Cookies, they make a 2-for-1 exchange. As Elements, they don't lose their tower. They lose their IO though, so they are unable to punish this top lane situation. Flens will teleport up there, clean it all out. Ooh, is Jelly going to look to reinitiate here? There's no Death Ward, there's no nothing. They're looking at the Brewmaster right now. Cass is going to be dodged, as he will get the blink out before anything else. This is still a delicate situation here for the Elements side. They lost one of their big damage dealers in the Enchantress, and yet again, we see this Io unable to save his buddies, even though he should be able to, at least more so than he has been.
I think it's just the nature of the game for the Io. He's got so many things hindering him. It's Coconut, there's Chronosphere, heck, even the Ember Spirit's a huge threat to the Wisp. Just getting a potential cleave onto his partner onto the Wisp, like, Wisp he's not that tanky. He's sitting on a mere 11 armor and 1.3k HP, so I'm not surprised that the Wisp is struggling. This is definitely not an easy Wisp game, to say the least. If Lion actually decided to keep going up that hill, they would have found Steph Style, but yeah, they didn't really want to go up there. Flo was farming, just keeping an eye on his buddy here. But the PL, as you said, the PL starting to, I don't want to say he's falling off, but he's not able to provide entirely for his team anymore. They kind of need another core to make up for the duration of the game. They've actually found Flens, but without the Lion, they can't really do anything to keep him in place. But yeah, they need more than this PL for a scaling. Like, I guess Enchantress counts, but they need more than an Enchantress. They need a real core, if you know what I mean.
Wow. That's poor Enchantress, not a real core anymore. Feels bad. I mean, she can do situationally a lot of damage. Cookies, though, getting on top of the Enchantress is pretty easy. Just blink onto her. Everyone has a blink dagger. Enchantress has one as well, to be fair, I suppose. But once she's very similar to Drought Ranger, I suppose. Like, once she's dealing with someone in melee range, Impetus doesn't do a hell of a lot of damage. Like, you have an Aghanim Scepter, you have a Dragon Lance, all of that doesn't really count for a lot. It gives you health, and that's about it. So there are very easy ways for Cookies to counterplay that. And Phantom Lancer, even though he is super stacked right now, 6 slotted, almost, level 2 travels, Moon Shards, probably at that point done. Get a fresh Diffusal Blade or something like that, because why not? Flo is topped out, whereas if you look at Cookie's core heroes, they have so much more room to grow. The Ember Spirit, he's almost topped out as well, so he's definitely getting there, but Queen of Pain, even Faceless Void, can build into quite a lot of damage. And those will be heroes that you have to address. Faceless Void is not really a carry any longer, but man, if you leave him alone, if he is going to get 6 slotted, he will kick your ass.
Oh god, yes he will. So now it's more or less going to be a farming game as we approach the 1 hour mark. Buyback status, there are a lot of buybacks on the map. So it seems that both teams are going to show a bit of respect to each other and make sure that they have those secondary lives to work with, as everyone is saving up the gold. No one is getting too overconfident. And Queen of Pains even managed to not only hold on to buyback, but finish up the Scythe of Vice too. A major disable, meaning that Adam's also going to be a pretty good initiator too when it comes into the team fights. BKB, Blinken, Scythe of Vice, and chances are whoever is hexed up is going to be taken down in, I guess, a snap of your fingers.
Yeah, it seems like you jump in, hex someone, the immediate play that Elements have to make is initiate with the Lion in order to counteract that hex, or have Slander pull that hero out. And either way, Cookies are completely fine with that. So this is going to be a big item for the Queen of Pain, as long as she doesn't get initiated upon beforehand. And well, so far, it hasn't really been her to take the bullet. It's the Faceless Void, it's the Ember Spirit who pose a little bit more of a threat, at least in the eyes of the Elements team right now. So you would expect her to, for the most part, dodge that initial initiation. I'd be really surprised if she gets caught out of position like that. They are, however, shoving down this bottom lane. There is a lot of upside to being in this position as Elements, because you're right outside the enemy base. If you take a team fight, you've probably forced a couple of buybacks if you're able to win. But yeah, it seems like for right now, it's just going to be stalling out. Someone is going to have to get a little bit careless with their farm, it seems. Or we're going to have a couple of smokes. It seems like there's one on the Dire. That's not smoke. There's one on the Radiant, unless I'm misreading that for whatever reason. Smoke is probably going to end up determining who is going to have a large edge in the upcoming minutes, or if elements are going to be able to get a huge edge in the upcoming minutes. Fervian's up on the high ground. He's Pablo. But this lion is now an observer ward. I guess he's an observer and sentry. And now he's
he
a
got
dead
caught out by
guy.
jelly. He needs to get it. Okay, that's the gem gone too.
So a little bit of D-ward there from Cookies, right?
Essentially, they got a lot of gold from that ward too. Like they tracked that ward. So.
Wow, Ice Frog taking things to a whole nother level. Yeah, track now castable on ward units. Yay! Thank you, based Ice Frog. So yeah, Lion is going to be dropping right now. Luckily for the element side, there is no immediate Roshan respawn, so they're not going to be immediately punished, but still, it is going to be a little bit of extra gold for the Cookies side, and more gold is never bad. I would like to see Jelly buy anything right now, because, you know, 5,000 gold is a little bit in excess for a buyback. Faceless Void again can just buy a small damage item and up his potential so much. He's going to run around with the Haster now, find the Brewmaster, get a first hit bash, because that's always how it is. Now they have Slander off in the offsets, and he will this time yank the Brewmaster out. He had all the time in the world to get that to come together. The only problem is he's going to return into a whole mess of heroes, including a Sheepstick. So I think Io is pretty screwed here.
And he is royally screwed.
That was a big crit.
That, essentially what happened there makes his death animation make more sense. He literally exploded within the span of what, a second?
It was definitely a second at most, I would say.
Second
So
at most.
poor Io.
Death
That's the life of an
animation
Io,
legit.
though. You take the
Yeah.
bullet. Whenever you're an Io player, you're like, God damn it, why are my teammates always so stupid? Gotta save them at the cost of my own life every single time. And now with no Io, they're gonna look to push in Cookies. They will grab the
Flo's
tower
pushing,
very easily.
however.
Yeah, Flo's going for it, but he really is gonna struggle up against his Ember Spirit, who can, at the drop of a hat, teleport right into this mid lane situation. Jelly's gonna get hexed up. No follow-up there. The Ember Spirit can very quickly clear this out, but Phantom Lancer, I feel like Elements may be in a situation where the Phantom Lancer can take structures fast enough that they will not be willing to teleport this Ember Spirit away. And that is going to end up defending the high ground for them.
Oh, they can snipe the courier. It's gonna walk right into the Queen of Pain and Witch Doctor. Oh, never mind, that's their courier. My bad.
It's late.
It's late. Yes, it's very late. Oh well, Roche be taken. 4th Roche this game. Aegis and Cheese. I think Cookies at this point, they've just established that Roshan is their property. Not only
Yeah.
is it on their side of the map, but it's just so much easier for them to take it.
And they will jump in. No significant split push, at least not right now. Please tell me everyone has a TP. Oh, Faceless Void does not. Oh, no one has TP. Oh, that's
They don't
really
have
bad.
TPs?
They gotta get back up to the
Oh.
top lane. Relocate is not going to be used just... Oh, they're going to get up to the top lane, actually. Flo is going to wail on the Raxes. Cookies. Oh, no. Is this a Cloud9 moment? Isn't that... Oh, they just lost Raxes for free. They're going to find Fervian. That's something, I guess. Nice Roshan, though. Adam's going to grab the Aegis. Cheese is going to be given to the team as well, but... What a blunder.
So now Cookies have one set of Raxes. Oh, they've also found the Brewmaster. Actually, I think Brew could...
No,
oh no, he's dead. He's dead now.
Well, you can't get Raxes for free. That's a little bit too much, you know. So
Gotta pay the
they
taxes.
will still have the Aegis. They have Cheese on the courier. Where is the Cheese? Cheese is on the Bounty Hunter. So Cookies, they still have everything in order that's necessary in order to make a Doom push. But man, I heard Travels are a good item. I think Teleport Scrolls are good as well. I'm not sure about that. Divine Rapier now picked up by Cookies. It feels like it's so much riskier, this play, than it really should be, given the fact that they're doubling up Element's skills.
They really they need... Okay, now, in circumstances where I would approve of an Ember Spirit picking up a Divine Rapier is if either 1, he has an Aegis in his inventory, or 2, the opposing team doesn't have the lockdown to take down an Ember Spirit, which... Elements, they've
Flow.
essentially got one.
Flow's gonna get jumped right now. Chronosphere right on the edge so that Adam and Pablo can keep on right-clicking. This Vandal Lancer is big, though. He's just not dying. You say he'll have a doppelgang out? Not quite. He will get picked off as Cookies do commit quite a bit towards him. He does have a buyback, but this is gonna stop the split push, at least as much as it can. And at least let Cookies get an angle to attack again. Can they actually grab their first set of Raxes here?
I don't know if they can, because they're consistently chasing around Elements all over the map, because they're so worried that Elements might go for the exact same play. I'm actually rather curious though, why didn't Elements send a hero to hit the T4 towers? That tower, you could touch that tower and it'll drop. 132 HP, it's hardly anything.
Enchantress.
They found the Enchantress. She blinks out, and the Wisp is going to relocate her out. Although they do get a free Wisp kill.
God damn it, why are my teammates always so stupid? Gotta save them every single time. Rip Slander. You know...
Well, Slander is used to this. It's part of the job description.
Whoa, why is he getting away? Okay. I don't really know what happened there, but Io is going to definitely die in those situations, and it seems like they just wanted to give him a little bit of hope so that they could snatch it away at the last second. But bottom line, Enchantress saved, and it's very much so worth it for Elements to essentially trade away their Io in exchange for an Enchantress. That's all well and good for them. Cookies, though, being 1 Rax away from being Mega, is that actually going to make the difference, though? I mean, they're definitely with enough gold. Faceless Void still has 5,300 after picking up the Travels. Queen of Pain has quite a little bit of cash as well. Maybe they're just going to start building up into some Maelstroms and just kind of anticipate the worst-case scenario of being Mega'd.
Do they have any Desolator on any of their heroes?
No one has a Desolator in this game.
Desolator would actually have been a good
bottom
pickup.
lane. Jelly is going to get jumped right now with the Hex. Faces Void down with the buyback, however. Big Sleight of Fist from Flens. No punish. No Blink Hex just yet. Still cooling down.
For Elements, if they can force the buyback here, that would be ideal. But it seems that's not going to be the case. They just TP'd everyone home.
By the way, Cookies are 30k ahead. So...
They're 30k ahead, but they're so confined to the way that Elements is playing. Elements is controlling the game simply because Cookies is down 2 sets of Raxes. If they had that top set of Rax, then Cookies would definitely be a little bit more confident moving out of their base. But because of that Cloud9 play, they've got to expect the unexpected. They're just playing so safe.
Oh, jeez.
And another Divine.
More Divine Rapiers. This is the in case of emergency.
They need to get Aegis on him. That you cannot let him walk around.
I mean, it's fine. You die once, you have another one.
But if he dies once, then it means that you are definitely killable.
I think, yeah, but it's fine. You just buy back, grab your second one. He's 38 gold short, but he should be able to accrue that in the course of a team fight. Yeah, I mean, Flens is pretty much topped out. He doesn't have moon shards. I mean, it's usually just Sleight of Fist, but yeah. I think it's better than the third Divine Rapier, right? You don't need that many emergency items. Elements, though, they're actually pretty well positioned around the map. Bottom lane excluded. As the Brewmaster is going to shove that one in. He's going to teleport up towards top, or at least try to before the creep gets killed off in 1 Sleight of Fist. Now Brewmaster going to get jumped by Pablo. Both on the Brewmaster. He's going to BKB teleport out. In the meantime, towards top lane, Verbian dropping low already. Here comes the Shiva's Guard as Adam is actually going to have to deal with his bottom lane. They're going to relocate down here. Range Rax is already fallen. Now the relocate is going to yank him back. Flow actually stuck around because of the doppelganger. And now he's just going to go for the Megas, and it looks like Chronosphere will save it! 20 HP, but there's no damage going into Flow. The Ancient is in trouble right now because the creeps are working on that. Flow, just a couple more right clicks are needed to kill off this Rax, and they will grab Megas. Can they get away while minimizing their casualties? Slander is just going to book it, but he's running away from a Queen of Pain. In the meantime, Flow is still in the enemy base, still going for Pablo right now, right on top of him with a massive amount of illusions. That's Witch Doctor down. And Slander, he's still alive. He's actually going to look to tether and jump right back in. Flow, he's behind enemy lines. He's going for the Ancient right now. Flens is going to buy back right now. He's going to get another Divine Rapier. Break in case of emergency. This is an emergency through and through because the Ancient is dropping lower faster and faster, but it looks like Flow, he's running out of backup right now. The Brewmaster is going to resume his main form. Flow's still around, still right-clicking for all he's worth. Jelly's right on top of him, looking for those bashes, and it looks like he's going to get just enough to hold the Ancient, although Kata's still right-clicking. It's going to be so close. The Ancient at 80 HP. The catapults, just one more shot is all they need. It's not gonna happen. Io Where's Io?
Oh, the
Io's
Wisp
relocating in,
is
be a hero!
coming!
And they got it!
Oh my gosh.
What the fuck is this game?
That was the messiest endgame fight I've seen in a very long time. So essentially what they did was they had the Lion and the Enchantress up in the top lane. They actually killed off the Ember Spirit and took him off the face of the earth for a little bit, whereas down bottom you had the PL pushing away, and without the damage from the Ember Spirit, they actually couldn't kill the PL. Oh god.
I don't even
I
know.
can tell you're speechless.
All right. So Cookies, they get ratted out. IO, usually the split push from the IO is most relevant when there's IO Tiny because IO Tiny just blows through buildings like nobody's business. But you're one racks away from getting the megas, and I expected them to get the megas and for Cookies to stabilize afterwards, and then we would have another 5-10 minutes of jockeying for position and whatnot. But Element's just going whole hog for it, and the Phantom Lancer, with the evasion that he has with the Faceless Void, I think not spending. Yeah, he has 7,000 gold, 8,000 gold on these heroes by the end of it. For sure, Cookies didn't expect to lose the game at that point. Otherwise, you spend your freaking gold. You get an MKB or something like that as a Faceless Void. You get a couple more bashes in the Phantom Lancer. They probably still hold.
Probably. That's a very, very important word in that statement. Probably.
I don't know.
I don't think so. I'm not too sure if the Faceless Void would have really been able to hold it, even if he did pick that up. He did hold a lot of gold, though. I will admit he needed to spend that money, and he was holding on to a lot of small components. Like he wasn't holding on to any major items.
Get
So
Manta style. Get
yeah, I suppose
actually anything.
anything. I mean, would you even Moonshard, right? Like if you just
Yep.
grabbed a Moonshard, having that extra attack speed would have been good too.
Yep.
Like
More
Moonshard would have been
rolls.
the best one.
More rolls for the bashing. But guys, this is just game one in the best of three. Elements win this game. I'm not sure if it's because of amazing play or bad play from Cookies. A little bit of everything I feel in this game. So I'm Mikelorus. I've been joined by Danelie, and we'll both be right back for the second game in the best of three to see who's gonna get knocked out of the NoShang Invitational. Guys, we'll be right back.